Hello, Jason. How's it going? Hey, Will. How's everybody doing? Hello, Sal. Hello, Amy. Hello, Aaron. Good evening. Yeah, this is a late live stream, isn't it? Hello, Zarel. And hello, Scott. Yeah, the regulars are all here. How's everybody's Thanksgiving and how's everyone's winter going? I'm going to be right back. I might get a thing to drink. Quiet Thanksgiving, Amy B said. William says, my Thanksgiving was like a month ago, but it was good. Oh, are you in Canada, William McKean? Jason says it's pretty mild there. South is pretty solid, very cold. Just got married. Oh, wow. Congratulations. I hope your wedding day was good. Amy B says, I'm good. Cold today. It's 46 out. That is warm in Ohio in winter. Well, it's like not warm, but it's cool. Aaron says, I'm ready for Wayne National Forest. Yeah, this is the season to do that, I feel like, because you don't have to deal with all the overgrown stuff. Amy B, nice shot of those sandhill cranes. It was great, very memorable. Yeah, does anyone have any like winter or holiday plans? It's cool to see like really interesting wildlife show up at places like that, like in parking lots. And I think just a few days ago, I was sitting in the living room and like a deer walked right by the window, which is pretty common in Ohio, but in this particular area, I don't usually see deer. Yeah, Amy, that'd be cool. We'd love to see that. Let's see. Scott says, just hiking and the required family things. Yeah, I feel that. Jason says, nothing special planned this year. I think I still don't know what my Christmas plans are, but I do know that for New Year's, we're probably going to go on a trip somewhere. And we're hoping to go somewhere further away because Brian has some more time off than usual. So hopefully that'll give us time to like drive somewhere far to a cool location and actually do that. Robby had a buck deer. Oh, that's cool. Aaron says, I was doing a night hike and saw about 10 deer. That's awesome. Yeah, Scott, I mean, Tennessee would be a good spot. Although that Virgin Falls place sounds so cool, but would it be worth it going there? I guess in the winter, it would actually be pretty cool if the waterfalls were frozen over, but I don't know what the conditions will be like. Sal says, moving back to Philadelphia, hopefully going to do some winter hiking on the AT. We were originally hoping to do some hiking in Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia, but Pennsylvania. This is the cat you can barely see. Yeah.
This is Ellie. This is our new cat.
Yeah, we got a new cat. You all probably know about that by now, but William McKean says, have you guys ever thought of going somewhere in Minnesota? Definitely. Is Boundary Waters is Minnesota, right? That's someplace we really want to go for a canoe trip, but Minnesota in general would be really cool. Upper Peninsula as well. Amy, I've been good. Thank you for asking. Scott Nevergusky says, last year you could have seen them frozen around New Year's, but usually only gets that cold sometimes in January, February. Okay. Yeah, I do know that. Sorry, I'm coughing so much, but hopefully wherever we go, we want to see some nice snowy weather, some sort of wintry stuff. It's so hard to find like a good weekend where it's snowing a lot these days, I feel like. I don't know. Maybe it's not these days. Maybe it's just like when you actually try to plan a specific trip around everyone's schedule, it's just hard to get lucky and get a weekend that's snowy. But cat is mandatory in all vlogs this point forward. Yeah, I agree. I know there's someone on Instagram that I follow who is like a scientist and studies botany and stuff like that, and she actually takes a cat hiking with her on a harness. Could be pretty funny in a video, as long as they don't kill all the birds and stuff. William says, no squid, I'm not from Minnesota, but I know it's also in the Midwest. Yeah, Minnesota, if it's anything like the Upper Peninsula, and I assume it is because it's right next to it, I assume it's really beautiful. Yeah, snow in Tennessee don't go well on the roads. I could see that, especially with all the hills and stuff. Yeah, Jason, snow. There was one weekend we were thinking of going. Actually, I think it was last weekend, but we decided to work on some other stuff. And part of what influenced that is that almost everywhere we looked, there was like a day of rain. Sometimes it was like mixed precipitation, which probably just means like icy rain and stuff. And like that is not something I would want to deal with when it's freezing out. It's weird though. It feels like the Seneca episode we did doesn't feel that long ago to me. Like it almost feels pretty recent somehow. Even though summer was so long, it feels like it kind of feels like no time has passed at all. The Carolinas took a beating with the snow. Aaron Jones says, my hiking group has a passport that we do all around Dayton, Ohio. We earn stickers for each that we do. Oh, that's cool. So it's like a passport specifically for Dayton? I know there's some really good metro parks where you can go backpacking, but we're hoping to save those for a weekend where it's a little like tighter on time and stuff. We want to be able to use every opportunity we have to like go further away and explore more interesting places. Astral area, aka Black Mountains, have snow right now. Somebody I know was in Tampa for the weekend for a wedding, and apparently it was like in the 60s and 70s, but then on the actual wedding day it started storming, so they couldn't have it on the beach, which kind of stinks. But DR says, love the Timberline video. I think it's going to be a popular episode. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, we'll probably release that publicly in January. Sal says, have you guys ever thought of hosting a trail cleanup day? Actually, yeah, we have. We've done some cleanups of forests that we live nearby, but it would be really cool to make some sort of a public event out of that. We might, I think maybe in the spring, that'd be like a really good time to do that. Because you could kind of, well, one, it'd be better weather, but two, you could also like do a dual thing where you kind of teach people about plants that are coming out. That'd be kind of nifty. Yeah, speaking of going on episodes that are further away, I'm curious like what you all think of all the episodes we do when they're like in locations that are very close by, like all the Wayne episodes and like just ones in the Midwest. Because there's part of me that's like, we need to figure out a way to be able to go to more exciting places more often. And we're going to make a concerted effort to do that. I think like part of it is just making sure we plan that out. But then there's part of me that's like, maybe people enjoy those episodes more than I realize. I don't know, but I'm curious what you all think. Like, what is it about? How much? Oh, the cat's doing something. Hold on. Okay. The cat just ran into its box, but yeah, I'm curious, like, how much the location matters in terms of your enjoyment of the episode. What you do? I don't know. I just heard some stuff fumbling around, and then she went to her box. DR says, I like the local ones. I didn't know there were so many hikes in the Midwest. Yeah, that is very true. Amy B says, location does not matter to me. That's awesome. Yeah, the more popular episodes are definitely in familiar locations, like places with name recognition, I think. William says, I like the balance of quiet and more peaceful local ones versus the more epic and grand places. Okay. Brad says, I enjoy those because I see different trails at locations I haven't hiked. Jason says, I enjoy those episodes. It's a different landscape to here on the coast. I know being from there, you might think the air is boring, but I don't think it is. Okay, that's good to know too, actually. Yeah, I do know, Thomas has told me that besides Ohio, we have a lot of viewers in Texas and California. And it's kind of interesting to think about what landscape they're seeing versus what we have. Aaron says, for me, Allegheny was the best. Daryl says, speaking of close by, did you see that Robby's backyard has a long trail going off of it? Oh, yeah, I didn't realize. Is it like literally his backyard, or because I know there's like the what is it? It's like a trail that goes along a railroad at some point, I think. And unless this is just like a completely random trail you're talking about, but I do know there's like a trail local to the area, and it also goes by like a brewery area that we went to a couple times. I could be wrong, but you guys are the most critical on your locations. It's the most fun to watch. You guys just enjoy nature in interesting circumstances. Okay, thank you, Sal. That's good enough. Brad says, I like the West Virginia episodes too. I'm here in Kentucky. Okay. Also, I also want to know what you all would think of going back to another location. I think if usually when we revisit locations, I like for it to be in a different season or on a different trail. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I think maybe I worry too much about this stuff, and it's actually not that big a deal. Literally right off his backyard. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that vlog out. Health Pleasure, welcome. Health Pleasure says, it would be cool if you all did another episode with the walkie-talkies. Yeah, the Smokies episode is awesome. And actually, we've been talking about, oh, that's Heath Pleasure. But we've been talking about doing another episode where we all split up. And that's especially something we could do if we're worried about going to like another sort of what I think of as boring Midwestern location to make it more interesting. I really want to do one where we split up into groups of two, because it'd just be interesting to see that dynamic. I think it'd also be cool to do a trip where we're split up into 4 one night and then split up into 2 groups of 2 the next night, and then eventually come back together for one last night. Scott says, revisiting during a different season makes for a whole new look. Jason says, Dolly Sods is a must because Thomas hasn't been. Yeah, I was just thinking we could go to Dolly Sods in the spring or something with Thomas. And also there's a trail there that I really want to show everybody, the Rocky Ridge Trail. Dolly Sods in general just has a lot of places, so maybe we'll just go back there. Jason says, locations are great, Andrew, but part of the appeal is the dynamic between you guys that is also interesting. See, that's really reassuring. And part of me was wondering if maybe that's how people felt, but I never know. I go back and forth on this. I'm like, we need to make sure that we can keep producing stuff that's actually new and interesting. But then I also think about how I enjoy watching Bob Ross, no matter, and it's literally 30 plus seasons of him painting landscapes, and they're all sort of the same sometimes. Once in a while, it's a little different, but I never get tired of it. So I was hoping that would be the case. Aaron says, I was thinking about going to Dolly Sods in the new year. That's good. I feel like that'd be a cool idea. Hopefully you could get some snow. Usually, if you're going to Dolly Sods and it's raining while you're driving there, it means it'll be snowing once you get up there because it's higher altitude. Sal says, have you guys ever thought of doing Acadia? Yeah, absolutely. That's actually a good idea. We haven't really explored much of the East Coast at all. I would also still love to do the Adirondacks and the Catskills and just a bunch of stuff up there. Scott says, did Bryan check the mail today? You guys should have a package today from the wife and I. Oh, shoot. I don't think we checked it yet, actually. I will let him know in a second, though. And speaking of which, Scott, we're going to return that favor. Amy says, by the way, I got my patch in the mail. I love it. Go to Acadia before tourist season. Early May is the best. Okay, that's good. Good to know. Yeah, I guess summertime is when things will get pretty crowded. The Smokies would be a cool place to revisit, too. Cap says, would love to see something in Adirondacks, my neck of the woods. I assume that's what ADK is. Zarel says, how about a Grand Canyon rim-to-rim hike? That would be really cool. I wonder what it's like in the winter, but I've heard that it's a pretty tough hike, but we would definitely love to do that someday. Another place out west I would want to go is Grand Tetons, just because there's a lot of like history with us there. It's like it's like the second place we ever went backpacking, maybe the first for Thomas. But we also like met a really cool mountain man there, and it'd be really cool to tell the story about that. Where Acadia is, Bar Harbor is where cruise ships come in, so it gets pretty packed. Ah, I see. Yeah, the Ozarks, people have been telling us about that too, and that's definitely another location we'd like to do. Brad, yeah, that's actually another great idea. We've been tossing around a regional part of the AT. I would love to do a section of the AT that like starts in the woods, goes into a town, and then goes back to the woods. I really like the idea of like episodes that mix civilization and nature. Obviously, I like episodes that are just like raw wilderness too, but I feel like that always makes for an interesting thing. DR says, yes, Grand Tetons. I worked there for a couple summers. Awesome. What was your favorite part of the park, DR? Because the place we went originally was Phelps Lake, and I remember there being a jumping rock there, and it was just really fun. Scott Neverdusky says, I'd love to see a Paintbrush Canyon, Death Canyon. Ooh, yeah, that'd be cool. I feel like that was our original route or something like that. We definitely were going to go through at least one of those canyons, but it ended up being pretty long for us since we were like first-time backpackers back then. I think I have been to, it was either Death Canyon or Granite Canyon, but I went back there one time, and it was just beautiful, and like all the huckleberries were out. It was so cool. Scott Neverdusky says, cresting the Paintbrush Canyon Divide was awesome. Nothing has beat that view yet. DR says, I actually hiked Paintbrush Canyon, Death Canyon. I also liked the Gross Venture area. Okay. I also remember we canoed around Jackson Lake, I think. Although I think that's more just like a daytime thing. One other location I would love to do in Idaho is the Sawtooth Mountains. I've been out there once, and it was awesome. I mean, just so many places in the west and in the north, really. But I think for this New Year's trip, we have like a good amount of time off, but not enough for anything that would involve like flying or driving longer than 10 hours. But I think we're thinking of doing someplace in the Upper Peninsula, just because we really haven't done a lot of Michigan, and it's such a beautiful state, and like that's some of the coolest hiking in the Midwest, probably. I think I knew somebody who used to do ice climbing on the waterfalls in Pictured Rocks or something. DR says, did you rent the canoe from Coulter Bay Marina? You know, I think we might have, actually. That sounds pretty familiar, but it's been almost 10 years. It's been like 9.5 years. I might be able to check my journal really quick, if you'll excuse me. Aaron Jones, hello. Pictured Rocks in winter would be awesome, yeah. We just did Pictured Rocks, though, but, I mean, maybe no one would actually care. Scott says, they say Porcupine Mountains and Upper Peninsula are really nice. Yeah, I've heard that too. That's definitely a potential possibility for this one. I'll be right back. I'm going to check my journal. Okay, I'm back. This is the first like camping journal that I ever made. It's pretty thin. And it spans from, oh, you know, is this, actually my Grand Teton strip is not even in this journal. It's in some other random book. Because this goes from 2010 to like 2012 or something. Yeah, so I don't know. It might have been Coulter Bay Marina. That sounds really familiar. Thomas would probably know. Actually, this is some of the stuff from the Land Between the Lakes trip. Some of you know about this, but we took a trip to Land Between the Lakes in, I think it was May, and basically got rained out and mosquitoed out. But it was an attempt to start Adventure Archives. We had some other friends there too, though, which also made filming a little difficult. Sal says, Andrew, would you ever make a side video about how to construct your own journal? Yeah, actually. In fact, I'm probably going to be making one in the next few weeks, so I can do that. That's something I've actually kind of wanted to do for a while. Scott says, Winter AA challenge, spend the night in an ice cave, earn a badge. That'd be cool. Where do I find an ice cave? I feel like I'd have to go really far north. Have you ever done that? Has anyone ever stayed in an ice hotel also? Because that'd be pretty interesting. And I feel like your bed would melt. Michigan, okay. Huh. Let's see, Michigan Ice Cave. Whoa, that is so cool. Holy cow. I'm looking at the Eben Ice Caves. Wow, that would be so cool. Are you allowed to camp there? Oh, that's pretty far, but even if you're not allowed to camp there, though, that'd be a really cool video. Sal says, if you've never done it, it might be interesting to make a small journal for backpacking. Yeah. Well, I actually do. I take these journals with me on my backpacking trips, even though they're kind of bigger. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool making a smaller one. Sal says, my sister stayed in that famous ice hotel in Canada. Scott says, Finland has igloos that you can stay in with clear roofs to see the northern lights. That's really cool. Yes, it would be cool. It's very punny. Yeah, I would love to do a pretty like wintry northern trip in the boreal forest, but probably need some new equipment for that. Also, I just remembered that we keep talking about like getting a really big tent that all four of us can stay in, and that'd be really cool to try this winter. It's really like I have no idea what this winter is going to be because I don't know if it's going to be warm or if it's going to be like last year where it snowed through April. Voyager 2 has entered interstellar space. Whoa. And didn't they just launch a probe to Mars or something? Oh, yeah. Also, we were going to do this for one of the vlogs, and we might still do it, honestly, but we got this package a couple weeks ago from Sal, who is in the chat right now. And I've got a note here. I might save reading the note for the vlog, maybe. I don't know. Or I could read it now. But let's see. So this is a fire piston, I believe. Yeah. So this is a fire piston that Sal sent us. I'm assuming most of you know what it is, but just in case, you basically put like some tinder in there, usually char cloth, and then you like close it really fast, and the pressure ignites it. And then, ooh, what else is there? Thank you, Sal, by the way. Aren't you guys supposed to send Sal presents for getting married, not the other way around? I didn't even know he got married until this present was already here. So, but yeah, no, thank you, Sal. There's also this scarf thing, which will, I think it's moisture wicking, and it's like just something you put around your neck and stuff. Of course, soup noodles, our favorite meal to eat. And there's another one here. So it's pho and ramen. Actually, there's a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go through this on the vlog for Wednesday, just because like that way I can actually sit down and lay everything out in a nice, organized fashion, and Bryan can do that with me. But no, seriously, thank you, Sal. I'm always amazed when we get packages from people because I'm just like, holy cow, you guys do not need to send this to us, but we're really grateful for it, and also it gives us stuff to eat on the episode, so that is something we really appreciate. No, I mean, thank you guys for supporting us so that we can actually do this for real. There's probably other stuff in there that I didn't pull out, but like I said, on Wednesday we'll have a vlog for you. Yeah, but thank you guys so much. I wish there was like a more logistically easy way for us to send stuff to our patrons. But I will say that like a merchandising thing is something that we're hoping to figure out soon. I think like probably after the holidays, just because everyone's going to be like relaxing with their families. But I think after that, me and Thomas and Bryan are going to try and sit down and like figure all that out once and for all, and try to not get distracted. But there's also this thing about the holiday package thing where, I don't know, I just want to try and think of some sort of gift, not a physical one, but a digital one, just because logistically it would be easier on this short notice, but some sort of holiday themed thing I can give to all the patrons. I'm all ears if you all have any ideas. I was thinking of some stuff like a special postcard that would be digital, a special holiday live stream where like maybe we watch some Christmas movies live and like you guys can pop in. I was also thinking of doing like, well, we were all thinking of having some sort of a 24-hour stream or something where we stream our episodes and chat with people. An AA ugly sweater, that would be funny. Ooh, Sal, that's a good idea. Wallpapers for phone or comp. That would be a good idea. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, Sal, that's a really good idea. William asks, is Thomas sick again? Because his Instagram seemed to indicate so. Did it? Let me check. I don't look at Thomas's Instagram too often, but. Oh, his Instagram story. Oh, wow. I guess he is sick. I didn't realize that. Oh, so this looks like, is this the thing Scott sent us? Thank you, Scott. Do we want to open it here or on the vlog? Scott, should we open it here or on the vlog? I guess, I mean, either way, I'm going to show it on the vlog. But... AA Marathon is a great idea. Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah, and that would honestly, I would like to do that 24-hour stream thing just for all viewers, kind of. But maybe we could have our own on Patreon, too. Like, we could have an extra feature or something. The Smokey the Bear poster. Hello, Up Trail. Welcome. We were just talking about your part of the country, the Upper Peninsula, because we might be headed somewhere up there this New Year's. We're not sure yet, though. Scott says Robby is probably playing Smash Brothers. That's a good guess. Yeah, I don't know how Thomas got sick again, but that is a bummer. I got sick a little bit ago and had some like swollen tonsils and stuff, but I'm better now. Scott says I can open it here. Okay. Scott Neverdusky with one of my favorite trees on the back. Yeah. It would have Christmas trees and it would just say one of my favorite trees. Scott says it is just something my wife and I made from our trips. That sounds awesome. Whoa. Actually, wow, this is so funny because this was actually an idea. Wow, are these pictures you took, Scott? I'll show it to everybody in a second. Thank you so much. I'm going to read the note on the vlog just because, I don't know. I just want to have like a nice organized presentation of all the stuff for the vlog. But thank you so much. Oh, so if you're all wondering, he sent us some calendars for 2019 with pictures that I assume you took, right, Scott? Oh, your wife took them. Okay, yeah. I remember you saying that she was a photographer, yeah. It's hard to see in this lighting. Hold on. I don't know if this is gonna make it better or not. But... Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, it's funny because this actually reminded me. I think my mom was talking to me about how I could do like create a digital calendar that people could print off and use for themselves. So, but yeah, this is so cool. I was needing a 2019 calendar too. This is like really awesome. Thank you so much. Got Yosemite. That is so cool. Southern California. Wow, that's awesome. Is that from the airplane or something? Or is that from like a mountain? Or... That is a cool picture. Tuolumne Meadows. Thank you so much, for real. And tell your wife thank you too. And that her pictures are awesome. This is a cool one from the Smokies. Oh, hey. There you go. Thank you so much. Seriously, like this is awesome. Wow, that's so cool. This is incredible. Thank you. I am so like I can't believe you all send us this much stuff. It's like super humbling, honestly, because I'm like, what am I doing to deserve this? But I'm really glad you all think that. I don't know. It's just really nice. So thank you. And I hope that you all actually do feel like we're providing something. I mean, clearly you do, but I can't imagine. That last picture looks like the Dagobah. Yeah, the foggy one. It's the Smokies can look like that sometimes, and I mean, obviously that's in the name, but like it can just look like very primordial when you're hiking through it and it's foggy everywhere, and just like everything's covered in moss. I think it's technically a temperate rainforest. You know, it's funny because we never have done a Smokies episode in 4K. It'd be really cool to go back there. Sal says, we were in a cloud on top of Mount LeConte in an old-growth forest. That's awesome. Aaron says it's Endor. Well, everywhere we go, we compare to Endor. So, William says, hey, Andrew, do you by any chance know what brand of sharpener you used in that knife video? Yes, and by extension, whether or not it is also good for sharpening kitchen knives. Yeah, so let me pull this up real quick. So the brand is called King. There's the little logo there. So yeah, it's King, and it's a whetstone. I believe it's 800 grit on this side and 1,000 on this side, but I need to double check that. But yeah, it is good for sharpening kitchen knives. The one thing I'll say is that I had an older one, which I don't know where it is right now, but basically, depending on the knife you're using, like for kitchen knives, I use my old one just because eventually the stone wears down where it's not perfectly flat and it kind of gets like sort of a divot in it or a curve. And that's just because like when you're sharpening kitchen knives, you kind of like do this pretty quickly and the bevel on the knife is much smaller. So eventually like there's going to be some wear. So I actually use this for my knives that have a Scandinavian grind because it's much flatter and it's easier to sharpen it on these. And then, yeah. But yeah, it works for kitchen knives. Sometimes the stainless steel kitchen knives might take like a little more work to get them sharp, but yeah. Speaking of which, I actually need to sharpen my kitchen knives. Sal says, Scott never go see. That's amazing. Must have been spooky at the time. Scott says, it ruined the overlook, but made for a really cool atmosphere. That's what happened in our Smoky Strip, because we went up to the trail intersection by a place called Mount Camerer, which is an amazing place with an amazing view. But when we went there, it was obviously foggy everywhere, so it wouldn't have been worth it. Uptrail says, I chatted with Joe Robinette about a possible winter camping adventure. He said to keep in touch, so we'll have to wait and see. That's awesome. Yeah, Joe is such a cool person. Like and actually that's something else I should mention is we are talking with him about a collaboration as well. Actually, we're hoping to do it in January sometime, but yeah, he like just had a kid and his dog is sick, so he's got a lot going on too. But Uptrail, if you do that, I would love to see that as well. Like that'd be awesome. And I'm curious if you all would go to the Upper Peninsula or up to Canada. Sal says, Scott, always interesting how one thing changes your hiking experience rather than ruin everything. It just adds something completely different. That is true, except for when a canoe flips. William McKean says, sweet, thanks, man. I need to get someone a knife sharpener for Christmas, and I don't know where to start. Yeah, I mean, I do love these, and I feel like they're fairly affordable, like somewhere in the $20 range or so. Don't quote me on that. But what I will say is, like, this sort of thing you want to soak in water for 10 minutes before using. There's some where you use oil, but you don't want to do that for this because that'll clog all the pores in the rocks, basically, which means it won't be abrasive anymore. Amy B says, Sandhill crane picture up in the community. Awesome. Aaron Jones says, does everybody know Uptrail has a Patreon page? Yes. I didn't know that, actually, but we should let everybody know. And go check out Uptrail's channel if you haven't. I'm sure all of you know, but he joined us on the Pictured Rocks episode. Just an overall really cool, nice guy. He taught us the ins and outs of Upper Peninsula pasties. But also, like, he helped us plan that trip, which is why it turned out to be so amazing. So, William McKean says, pretty sad about Joe's dog Scout, though. Yeah, that's like such a big part of his channel too, and like a big part of his life. At least that's what I assume. Yeah. Sal says, Amy B, that is so funny. They look like they're dropping an album. Oh yeah, I need to check that out. Let me see. Wow, there's so many cool pictures that I still need to look at. Rick McAllister just posted some from the Southwest. Oh, shoot. Someone posted some mushrooms. Oh, that was Scott Neverdusky. I need to take a closer look, but... Sorry. I really need to check this more often. I need to get better about answering comments and stuff. There's like periods of time where I'm really good about it, and then there's times where it sort of just drops off and I get busy with other stuff. Canoe flips do make for a dramatic script, but sometimes there can be too much drama. Scott, I will answer that later because I do want to check out this crane picture really quick. And I also want to make sure that I'm actually right. Cat is wandering around. I don't know if you all just saw the cat, but... Okay, sorry. I'm trying to get the cat to wander over here, but there are definitely not magic mushrooms. I don't know quite how to identify those, but I do know that those aren't them. Okay, sorry. Let me get back to this. Whoa, those cranes are so cool looking. Holy cow. That looks like something out of a Chinese painting. I feel like my parents have a painting like that. But yeah, it does look like they're about to drop an album. Wait, Amy, what part are you from? You're in Florida, right? Or am I wrong? I should know that. You like just sent us some amazing stuff, but I have a terrible memory. Daytona Beach. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's really cool. I feel like all we get in Ohio in parking lots are like geese and occasionally seagulls for some reason. And maybe to other people that's like really cool, but oh, the cat's wandering around. But I wonder if like, because I'll go to different places where there's like lizards and stuff, and be amazed that they're just wandering around, but to everyone else it's just normal. But then people who are from out of town visit Ohio, and they're like amazed that there's raccoons and squirrels and deer. Also, Amy, the cat's name is Ellie. It used to be Tria, but it's Ellie now. So if you didn't know, like we found a cat outside our window, and it was this cat, and she had escaped from the like nearby adoption center. And eventually we found out where it was from, and we returned it. But then Brian decided to adopt it. It's just like it's a very relaxed and chill cat. It doesn't knock anything down, and it's very cuddly. Uptrail says, I'll be working on a summer YouTube meetup in Lower Michigan. Awesome. I already have several YouTube channels interested in doing this. It's very early planning. We would definitely love to hear more about that. Also, I think there's like a winter meetup happening, but like we're so bad at keeping track of things, but people have invited us to that. So hopefully we can actually like make that work. I really feel bad because I feel like people think we just don't want to go to those, or like we don't feel like associating with people, but it's really just that we're terrible at planning and keeping track of things. Scott Neverdisky says, Aaron Jones, if they were, someone was going to be rich with all of those. There was at least a 20-foot section of shrooms. Holy cow. Amy B, can you tell all the birds to finish migrating down there? I'm tired of having to clean my car of their droppings every day. My bird speech isn't as good as my squirrel dialect, though, so they may not listen. Yeah, that is really funny. I feel like the birds were kind of like migrating later in the season, but I could also be completely wrong about that. But I think just the warmer weather, like in October, made them stick around for longer. Just looking at this cat. So, Amy, to Floridians, like, is it really cool to see birds like that? Or is it kind of just like ibises and stuff and egrets and cranes? Like, well, I guess I see blue herons in Ohio, and I still get excited when I see those because they're not quite as common as like geese or anything. Yeah, she's a good cat. She's very pet friendly. Aaron Jones says, Uptrail, I would love to learn more or learn about pictured rocks for my trip. Aaron, what I can say is that if you check out the map thing in our episode, like that is an amazing trail to take. And that's the one Bob helped us plan out. Scott says, we've had thousands every day since the beginning of November over my workplace. Wow. Are you guys making the cat a permanent member of AA? Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know what really constitutes that. It would be fun to take it on hikes where that's actually allowed. But the one time we tried putting a harness on her, she escaped pretty quickly, so we had to figure something else out. I did see a cat recently that had like a big bright collar around its neck. It was really cute, and apparently people put that on their cats so that they don't hunt birds, because birds obviously have like really good color vision, so they can see colorful birds and for like mating rituals and stuff. So it helps them see like cats more easily. The cat needs to be on a shirt or something. Yeah, this should be our mascot, our new Greedo or something. A kinder Greedo. Amy B says, yeah, actually, ibis not so much, but the sandhill aren't around so much. Okay. I think they were endangered for a while. My favorite are the wood storks. They look like dinosaurs. Whoa, that is cool. Also, how often do people have run-ins with gators? Because I know there's like a few horror stories of people getting attacked, but otherwise it seems like they're pretty calm and not around that often, at least in like more civilized areas. But Scott says, Ellie needs to go on the group picture of you guys. Maybe we should just make the picture her. Or like put her in the intro or something. Uptrail says, my planning for trips is also awful. Most of the time it's planned at last minute. Okay, definitely same here. If we can make it out to Colorado this summer, Spigiver Backpacking wants to meet up with us for backpacking. That's awesome. Colorado is a dream destination. Amy says, I've seen maybe 2 wild gators. Wow. Sal, I actually didn't watch his live stream yet. But I mean, we'll take winter video ideas for sure. We have like a few here and there, but yeah, I'll definitely take some. I was thinking about maybe doing something about plants associated with like the holidays or something like that, or like maybe something where I make a wreath but we'll have to figure that out. I did just start filming. So I started filming another review, but I don't want to release it right after that jacket review. But it's actually about a backpack that I really really do enjoy using. And hopefully that'll come through in the video and people won't dislike it. Scott says, how to survive in the woods in winter. Yeah, I mean, we could do definitely some stuff like that. A long time ago, we filmed a video about trap making, and it'd be cool to do something like that again. Amy says, my winter video idea is competitive snowman building. Also snowball fight and snow forts. That would actually be really funny to do on an episode. Sal says, thought you should do a dehydrated camp food recipe series. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Amy B, this is a great idea. Actually, I haven't built that many snowmen in my life. Just like a few here and there. But Uptrail says, when you come up to the UP, if you want, let me know. Kathy wants nothing to do with winter camping. Sounds good. Sounds good. I don't blame her, honestly, but it is very rewarding, especially, I imagine, in a place like the Upper Peninsula. But obviously, I think, honestly, the biggest challenge with winter camping is, besides like the cold, is the fact that you can't sit down on the ground. Like, as weird as that sounds, and maybe this is like particularly annoying when we're filming, but just like the fact that you can't just like sit down at a campsite, you have to like make sure the place you're sitting is dry. It just makes it harder to like do things. I guess that is more of a challenge with like camera equipment, but still. Sal says it's all about having that good packing snow. That is true. Scott says my wife is the same way. Scott, I would assume that your wife was like more acclimated to cold weather though, but I don't know. But then again, I guess like if you can avoid it, a lot of people don't like the cold. MBB says, I've got to head to bed. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Amy, for joining us. And thank you again for the stuff you sent. Also, thank you, Scott and Sal. And please, like, for everyone else, like, don't feel like you have to send us stuff. Like, we really appreciate you just being here at all. So, but we are thankful for the gifts. Scott says, oh no, she hates it. Jason says, Amy B, have a good night. Get some sleep. Uptrail says, any plans for a new camera since the Manistee trip? Not yet, Uptrail. Although I did ask Robby the other day about like a decent cheap camera, not specifically for Adventure Archives, but actually just because I would like to start my own channel akin to Robby's vlog channel. And I keep like thinking about it and talking about it, but never doing anything. But hopefully I can actually start that at some point. Scott says she also hates our humid summers. Okay, that I totally understand. Yeah, I don't know. The summers can be rough. So I guess I feel like you just have to keep perspective in whatever season you're in and just like remember how miserable you were in the other season. So like when you're cold in winter, you just have to be like, at least it's not hot and humid. And then when it's hot and humid out, you just have to be like, at least I can step outside and not be freezing. But it's funny how easily we forget. Just because like summer lasted so long and it was so humid, and it lasted until October, and I'm already finding myself like griping to myself about how cold it is outside. So Scott says, if you want punishment, come hike the Smokies in July. Yeah. Aaron Jones says, I hear Micro Center calling. And Jason says, Andrew, what were your plans for your channel? Yeah, I had actually multiple ideas, and I was thinking like maybe I should just do a variety of stuff. One thing would be to do like Bob Ross style paintings. I don't know if I've ever shown any of you the paintings I've done, but it'd be fun to do those and just like basically copying Bob Ross, but I mean whatever. But I was also thinking of like I wanted to do some sort of a podcast type thing where I just talk with people while eating food. I don't know. I think I just like really enjoy scenes in movies where people are eating food and talking. And so I'm like, why not do something like that? Like My Dinner with Andre. In fact, I was thinking of calling that My Dinner with Andrew. But yeah, My Dinner with Andre is a fun movie if you're into that sort of weird thing. And I was thinking like I could also edit those into shorter videos, kind of like the Seinfeld, like comedians in cars getting coffee. But yeah, just like I have various ideas. They're not all entirely fleshed out, but I feel like it'd be nice to be able to have some different stuff that I can work on, just like with full creative control. Let's see. Jason says, I love to paint and draw, so that would be interesting. Oh, yeah. I remember you mentioning that last time. Oh, you know, Sal, your thing about the lo-fi, that is actually something we want to do is like, well, one, release stuff like that with like music and footage and stuff. But also just release like a several hour long video of a fire with like the sounds and stuff, especially for the holidays. Uptrail says, you guys had plenty of wet trips in 2018. Hopefully this year will be a perfect weather trip for you. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah. I mean, like a little bit of sprinkling is fine if it's like one day and it's really not that bad. But you know, we have had a lot of rain. I think we've earned some nice weather. Jason says, yes, nice, very chill. TMWay84, hello. He says, or they say, I'm personally getting ready for a solo trip to the Smoky Mountains in a week and a half. Solo hiking is a little intimidating, but so exhilarating overall. Yes. Solo hiking, especially in the Smokies, can be tough. Just like psychologically, because there's like all these uphills. But that is something that I think is really rewarding. That's actually something I want to do again, too. I should make that happen. Scott Neverdusky says, Jason Bourgeois, post examples to the community page or it will never happen. Yeah. Post some examples of the stuff you've drawn. Oh, wait. I do follow your Instagram, don't I? Camera Obscura 888. Do I follow that? Camera. Yeah. No, I don't. Well, I do now. Cool photos. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. But it'd be cool to do like some sort of art collaboration with patrons or something. I don't know how that would work, but that'd be an interesting idea. We could do like a collective art project or something someday. Aaron Jones says, how about doing a skiing / backpacking trip? Yeah, that would be something really cool. Like cross-country skiing. I think that's something we were considering for a while, but just never really looked into the details. But that's a great idea. Sal says, that's a great holiday gift idea too. Yeah, that's true. Scott Neverdusky says, I'm doing good, just having a Facebook. Facebook lol. Jason says, I would be up for a collab. Yeah, it'd be also interesting to collaborate with, like, on music for something. Like, maybe we could all... Oh, that'd be cool. If we did, like, some sort of collaborative video for a holiday someday. I don't know if we can do anything like that in time for this holiday season, but that'd be kind of nifty. I'm just thinking of weird ideas, but Scott says, I can only imagine the issues of skiing with cameras. That's true. That's a good point. We'd probably have to keep like bags on them or something while we weren't using them. Or like have one person who's not skiing or something. But then I feel like they would just get left behind all the time. Well, cross-country skiing is what we're thinking, but that would still be hard to do, I feel like. Yeah, there's just so many ideas, and like horseback riding would be such a cool trip too, but obviously that takes more effort and more planning. I think that might be our 2019 resolution, is just to like put more effort into planning trips ahead of time so that we can actually make sure that they happen. Anyway, we've got about 5 minutes left in the hour, and I should probably go and do some work after that. So I would love to hear some lightning round questions if you guys feel like. Scott Neverdusky says, if you do horseback riding, you have to go Red Dead style. That would be really fun. Thomas would be all about that. Yeah, GoPros on the body. That is definitely something we would do. TMWay84 says, I've used micro spikes in the past, but still on the fence about trekking poles. Never really used them out of old habits, but for extra safety benefits, might change my ways. Do you mean just for like snow hiking, or do you mean for skiing? Because yeah, I actually don't usually use trekking poles when I'm hiking, but I did in Mount Whitney, and I definitely feel like there are certain scenarios where they're a lot more useful to use. Okay. Sal Delicio says, love, marry, kill, ramen, pho, or pad thai. You know, believe it or not, I think I would get rid of ramen just because like I've had so much of it. Like pho, I would probably marry. Well, no, maybe I would get rid of pad thai. I don't know. I love pad thai, but also I feel like I crave pho and ramen more often than that. Stream crossing the poles are very useful. Yeah, that's definitely true. Is it realistic for A to do one episode a month or too ambitious? That's a good question, Daryl Anderson. I think that's something we're trying to figure out too. I'd like to get to a point where we could do like at least maybe like 8 to 10 episodes a year or something. Like I think we could do it. It's just that sometimes things come up and plans fall through. So it would require a lot of planning ahead of time. Scott Neverdusky said, street vendor pad thai in Bangkok can beat that. That does sound really good. I haven't had that. Yeah, just Thai food in general, or like Southeast Asian food is so good. Like the mixture of lime and peanuts, and it's really tasty. Although actually, I think my favorite soup noodle might be udon, or at least it was for a long time. Just because I love how like thick and silky the noodles are. Have you all ever seen the Chinese noodles where they take a single piece of dough and just keep stretching it? So it's like one giant noodle. They like stretch it and twist it and then like fold it over and stretch it again. And they keep folding and pulling until it's like a bunch of, it like exponentially grows into like hundreds of noodles. Scott says, would I rather see a bear on the trail or a mountain lion? I think a bear. Just because a mountain lion, I feel like a mountain lion specifically will stalk a human with the intent of hunting it, unless you take some sort of action. Whereas bears, most of the time, they just happen to be there and they're not trying to like deal with anything. They generally act in self-defense unless they've been like fed by people. Udon is good. Haha, I saw those Chinese noodles being made in Xi'an. Oh yeah. Sal says, you might have a chance with a bear. Mountain lion is going to eat you up. Yeah. A mountain lion, there's things to do to like scare it off. And basically it's a matter of just like making yourself bigger and acting aggressively. But yeah. Cloud Squall, Zidane. I don't know Final Fantasy this well. This is a question for Robby, but let me see. I obviously know who Squall is, or Cloud is. Squall looks like he's from FF8, I think. Is that the one? Yeah. Gunblades and Zidane. I don't know. Zidane looks weird, so. But he also looks like kind of the most interesting to me. I'm too young. Well, it's not even that. Well, yeah, that's probably part of it. But also, I just never grew up with like a PlayStation, so yeah. I just grew up with the Nintendo 64. Played some GoldenEye. Which was GoldenEye rated M? Because it had blood, but maybe things were different back then. I don't know. Anyway, 007 or Get Out. Yeah, 007. Yeah, that was like the game to play back then. I remember one time our neighbors were over and we put a cardboard thing in between the TV so we couldn't see each other's sides of the screen. Scott Neverdusky says, I bet you lace the rooms on multiplayer with proximity mines. Yeah, something we used to do was stack proximity mines or remote detonation mines on top of each other. and then like throwing them on glass and then stacking them so there were like a bunch of them, and then shooting the glass so they were just floating there. Favorite James Bond actor? It's funny because I always think of Pierce Brosnan as the James Bond just because of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I watched the movie Octopussy recently, and that is such a ridiculous movie. It is really hilarious, actually. There's a part where he's like, James Bond is sliding down a banister or down a stairway railing, and there's a banister at the end, and like it's gonna hit him in a very sensitive spot, so he like shoots it off with his gun so he doesn't hit it. It's just so ridiculous. Scott, I don't agree with Thanos because he could have just doubled the amount of resources instead of having the population. Unpopular opinion, Daniel Craig is a great James Bond, and like the movies have been great from what I've seen. I haven't seen all of them, but yeah. Again, maybe this is a case of me being too young. Sal says, good old N64 physics. Yeah, GoldenEye is fun. Okay, so I might be getting off now. I probably have to, I think there's some stuff I got to take care of anyway. So, but thank you everybody for joining me. Keep an eye out for the weekly vlog on Wednesday and the weekly update. And also I will be releasing the soundtrack probably tomorrow. I meant to do that today, but for the 10 plus patrons, I'll release that. And the bloopers will be out on Wednesday too for our most recent episode. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night. And also thank you again, Sal, Amy, she's gone now, but thank you, Sal, and Scott for the gifts as well. Like seriously, that means a lot to us. So have a good night. Bye.